Yes. Y'all, it's Traffic Jam with Kareem.
Thursday at 4 p.m.
Hey, Traffic Jam. Rainier Avenue Radio. Download the app so you don't miss out what's popping, what's cracking, what's shining. It's your boy, Kareem the Dream, on another beautiful week on here on Traffic Jam in Seattle. I hope you guys doing what you're supposed to be, being you're supposed to be. I got a good show for y'all. A lot to talk about. You know, Kareem the Dream, keep up with everything.
Get your entertainment news with Kareem on the Traffic Jam Thursday at 4 p.m.
Are you in need of new or gently used clothing? Hope's Community Closet is here to help. We offer a wide range of clothing for men, women, youth, children, and infants. Join us on the fourth Saturday of each month from 12:30 to 4 at the Silent Task Force. We're giving clothing with care, community with heart. Lovely Ladies Lemonade for sale, and shop to the sound of old school soul. Any questions? Contact Alicia Kennedy, Executive Director of Women United at 206-316-7601. 206-316-7601. Come and find the perfect outfit for you and your family. We look forward to seeing you there.
This is Paul Pearson, host of Star Time. And when I'm not explaining to my intern exactly what R&B is, I'm listening to Rainier Avenue Radio.world.
And we're back. LidLine Sports. Hey. We're back live on Rainier Avenue Radio, LidLine Sports. I'm Pep with my boys O and MC.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What's going on?
Welcome back, fellas.
In the house. Let's do this.
Yes.
Summertime finally is dawning in Seattle. It's been great weather, to say the least, besides that bummer on Saturday. But everything else has been pretty solid.
That
scared me.
Yeah.
So we were about to get robbed, man. You pulled up in the camera.
Anyway, man, this past few days have been weird. Like, okay, so Wednesday was nice. Thursday was not. Friday was nice. Saturday was not. Sunday was nice. And I'm like, what's going on?
Oh, man.
Today, I guess, broke the pattern because today was pretty nice, and then it's supposed to be nice up until at least another next 10 days. It's supposed to be in the 80s this weekend, so I'm hyped up for that.
Oh yeah, I know. My boss is supposed to be sending me tickets for the Mariners game tomorrow, so I think that's how I'll enjoy my Tuesday. Maybe
the Orioles.
Yeah, and hopefully George Kirby wakes up. You know, It's been a rough start for him, but
definitely
first couple games starting, so it'd be nice to see him on the mound.
Absolutely. So we'll get into the M's a little bit later. Right now, the NBA and the NHL are both in the finals, the Stanley Cup finals for the NHL and the NBA finals for basketball.
Who said? So you said the Florida Panthers.
I did.
Okay, so they are in the Stanley Cup.
Yep.
What did I say?
Did you say the Oilers?
I said Edmonton.
Oh, you said Edmonton. So you did say the Oilers.
I picked the Canadians.
You did.
I said Edmonton most likely would be, and he said Florida would, because he was going to, since they run it, you got to win it, you got to take down the champ.
Yep, I still feel that way, even though I'm rooting. I wouldn't mind seeing Edmonton win the Stanley Cup.
They've been, I think, in my opinion, they've been the second best team outside of the Panthers in the playoffs.
So the two best teams are definitely in the finals, which is what we always want to see, right? Can't always be New York and LA. Everything.
Every now and then, though, you always want to see an underdog.
Yes, that too.
True.
A sleeper or underdog in there that everybody. It's kind of like March Madness when you got a team that nobody's projected and and they get in there and you're like, and they make it to the Sweet 16. You're like, oh snap, let's go, roll.
Because nobody saw what they did to Vegas. Nobody saw that coming. Beating those guys 4-1. Nobody saw that coming. There's a couple games they put up some goals on them, so it's good that they've made it here. So I am gonna go now with the Florida Panthers, though. Just like you said, this is the team to beat. They've been one of the best teams in the NHL this season so far, or getting to this point. So I'm gonna ride with them.
Is the state of Florida owning hockey right now.
Yeah,
looks like it.
Yeah.
Because the last 5 Stanley Cups, either Tampa Bay or
Mhm.
Florida Panthers,
Which
are
is
in the
far from Canada.
Across the- yeah.
Yes, it's actually one of those vacation destinations.
Exactly.
That and Cuba
Uh-huh.
for the Canadians. So yeah,
But not lately though. Canadians haven't been going nowhere near Florida because of the situation.
Gotcha.
Are we getting political here?
Yes.
Okay.
They haven't been really coming to the U.S. at all. But if you would have witnessed when the Blue Jays played,
yeah, you're right.
The Mariners.
That's a good point.
Oh, so it wasn't really a frenzy like that. I was back visiting my girlfriend. So it wasn't really, because that's usually a good weekend. That's usually good. A lot of Canadians from Vancouver come up.
Not this time.
Interesting.
Pretty empty stadium.
Okay.
As far as
Canadians.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, they
Yeah.
usually come in flocks when
Nope.
when Toronto comes in. Okay.
So Toronto took 2 out of 3 then.
Mhm.
Anyway.
Mhm.
Yeah. So.
They said we don't need our fans.
No, they swept them actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. They swept them. So
Without their
oh well.
fans.
Again, we'll talk about the M's later. let's get to the task at hand. So we talked about the NHL. So Florida, man, they destroyed Carolina.
Mhm.
Carolina had one game where they blanked the Panthers, but the Panthers got right back to it the following game and just wiped them out.
Mhm.
And I thought Carolina would give them a little bit more trouble than they did. And so I guess Florida's just that good.
Yeah.
Them Kachucks, man, they're
Mhm.
bad boys. Yeah. So those are Jason Tatum's boys. I think they're from the same St. Louis.
Oh,
area.
yes. I remember that picture
So-
of them back in
Yep.
middle school. Yeah,
Yep.
that's dope to see.
It is. It is pretty cool. So shout out to Jason Tatum. Hope you get better
Yes.
soon. And it's kind of weird not seeing the Celtics or a team from California or a team from Texas in the NBA Finals.
Mhm.
Yeah, you don't see that hardly at all. Of course, it's good, but
Mhm. Look, are we segmenting to the NBA?
Yeah.
Yeah. Look, when Adam Silver became
Stern
the
Jr.?
commissioner, this is something that he had always lobbied for, and there's been a lot of rules set in for the cap and everything to try to make it as even as a playing field as possible to build a team. You didn't want it just to make it about the bigger markets having the best chance every year to make it to the finals. So this is where we're at now. We now have the OKC Thunder, who over the last 6 years has done one of the best jobs from a front office standpoint that I think we've all seen of building a team from scratch. We're talking about from the post Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook era to getting rid of those guys, getting as many assets as possible. Then also getting a little lucky. I would say a little luck when Kawhi Leonard asked for Paul George. So they went and made that happen and found Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. And, from then on, they have been nothing but on the upward trajectory. Now, just like Shai said, I think after their first or second year, we're not playing well. I just signed an extension here, but I promise you, it won't be too many more bad seasons like this anymore. And that's been true. Now, I did not think by this time that they would be in the NBA Finals. I thought that they were a year away. I thought after, losing in the second round last year, and then, I thought just kind of like the Celtics, they keep inching at that corner, and I think might be finally after a little bit more experience in the playoffs, they would get there. But I was wrong. I have no problem admitting that these guys, I was wrong.
No way.
I was wrong, man.
It's changed in the NBA.
Mhm.
I'll tell you how it's changed. And it's evident with the two teams that are in the finals, and they deserve to be in.
Yes.
But it's evident that the league is leaning to the younger hustle defensive play team squad they're not looking for that diva one star player. They're playing all round ball where they can go 9 deep, and these guys come in, they do what they need to do. They're playing defense, they're running offense, they're hustling, and that's Pacers. They've been doing the same thing. And the teams that are, have the stars like the Lakers and LeBron and,
The Giannis's and things like that.
Those teams are kind of phasing out because they're one-sided, meaning that the star player, one or two of them that are on the team, Who does Harden play for?
The Clippers.
Who else is on that team that plays this similar? That's a star.
Kawhi.
Okay, so they don't play hardly any defense. And
Kawhi does.
Well, he does, but not
when we know James Harden does.
Yeah, we know James Harden does. I get what you're saying.
When he's in.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
And my point is, he does. Kawhi does a lot of load management, but it's changing to that point. So you're going to see some of the other teams gravitate that way and go more younger. And these teams are going to start. It's going to change.
And you know what else though too? You say something about like that number one star.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of argument over the last, especially over Bron's last 3 years, like who's going to be that next face.
Mm-hmm.
The league is too spread out. There's too many good players.
Exactly.
It's too talented where there's not going to be just that one guy who just dominates year after year, overwhelmingly more than any other player. Right. I don't think we're going to see that anymore. And I think that's what a lot of sports, though. Right. You know, it's hard to just really pinpoint that one guy. Like, this is the guy who we're going to, like, you know, put on everything, and he's going to be the face of this league. There's too many good guys.
Right.
You say Anthony Edwards 1 year. Then you say Nikola Jokic 1 year. You say Shea now. Like, it's going to be now. I feel like this is a year, and is who's the best player for the year. Now, yes, do I still think that Nikola Jokic is the best player overall? Mm-hmm. But marketability, he's not marketable to be saying like he's the face of the NBA.
Right.
And then you got guys like Anthony Edwards, and I think all the, you know, a lot of the Americanized guys, I don't think they care to be like a face of the NBA, to be that marketable and be super likable and anything like that. So, yes, I think we are officially now in this I'll even say post Golden State, post Steph era. Mm-hmm. We are officially, I think ever since the Boston Celtics won, we are officially a new era. Mm-hmm. And just like you just said, it's showing now with the two teams that is in the finals. Just like Pep just said, there's no LA. There's no big marketable star who's been, quote unquote, LeBron or Giannis, even Jokic, or, you know, none of those guys are in the finals. Now, me personally, I love this.
Me too.
When you are, and I feel like for the people who really love the game of basketball, first of all, hey, you want to see the two best teams playing in the finals.
Always.
But two, you want to see two teams that are going to play good basketball on both sides of the court and don't take possessions for granted.
Right.
These are two teams that do that. And they've done it for 82 games. Not load management, not taking moments off, not saying, oh, we'll just get the next game. These guys have, and yes, I think with the Pacers, their road here was a little different because OKC was overwhelmingly the best team in the Western Conference, in the NBA by far. The Pacers, they started out a little slow. They weren't projected to be a finals contender. Even Tyrese Halliburton started off really slow. And then by All-Star break, he started kicking it up another notch. But just like I said when the playoffs started, this was the hottest team coming into the playoffs. Now, I can always say, yeah, if Jason Tatum doesn't get hurt, what really happens? But that's neither here or there. There's always injuries in the playoffs. So I do think, regardless, I think if let's say that didn't happen and the Celtics did make it to the conference finals, I still think this would have been a 7-game series. Now I don't know who would have won, but the Pacers are here and they should be here.
Yep, totally agree. You know, the Thunder have home court. So, you know, you always got to take that in effect as far as who you think is going to be favored and which the fake Sonics are. Oh, yeah, you know I'm going to throw that in.
Man, a lot of the OGs, man, my mom I hate that they made it to the finals. I'm like.
Yeah, I don't like it, but I'm going to watch it and enjoy the Pacers upset and victory. So, yeah.
I hate the franchise. I don't hate the players.
Right.
Because they didn't have anything to do with it. I don't like Bennett. I don't like, you know, the commissioner. I hate that aspect of it.
Fair enough.
And I hate that you want to call, quote unquote, who sold him? What's his name?
Howard Schultz.
Howard Schultz sold him. But he's got to be the most dumbest millionaire guy to sell a team for $350 million that's now worth almost $4 billion.
Yeah.
That shows you that was the dumbest financial move,
especially the trajectory of the NBA too.
Right.
It's like you gotta
going
take
higher
yeah.
and higher, and, NFL higher and higher. So, and it's, but I'm not gonna. I'm like Pepe. I still will call them the fakes. I don't want them to ever win a championship, but if they do, I'm not gonna be mad because they deserve it, because the players played and they got there. So
right.
But I still can't stand the franchise.
Yep. And then there's 4 Canadians, 2 on each team. SGA is Canadian from Toronto area. If you remember back when Denver won, Jamal Murray, he's from the Toronto area. So they're pulling out ballers just like Seattle. So shout out to them. So Nemhart, I think, is the other Canadian for Indiana.
Lou Dort is Canadian.
Lou Dort, yep.
Who we missing?
Shea Gilgeous and
Lou Dort, Nemhart.
Is
it one more from OKC?
One more for OKC. I can't remember now. Is it? No, I don't remember.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah,
we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
For me though, I think the Pacers are going to play a lot. They're going to come out and they're going to shock people, because if you've seen the game, who got the MVP of that last series?
Siakam. Very well shown.
Exactly. But who plays always super better when they have a chip on their shoulder?
Hallie.
Because Hallie thought he was going to win it. He had that look and everything. And when they gave it to Siakam, you can see that fake smiles, a fake hat. And so now he's got something to show. Okay, you didn't want to give me the MVP of that series. I'm gonna go get it for the championship.
Okay.
Who won game 1 for Indiana?
Me?
Nesmith.
Nesmith, yes.
They don't win. They might not win the series if they didn't win that game.
No, exactly.
Let's break down the series. We start out with OKC Thunder, the number 1 seed, coming out the West, 68-14. 4 games away from that magic 72 number. Overwhelmingly the best team coming into the finals.
Right.
And then the Indiana Pacers were the 4 seed, I believe, coming out of the Eastern Conference, 50 wins. Like I said, a little bit of a different paths, but the 2 best teams. Starting off with the Pacers. Yeah, I think the reason why they're here is because of the others. There was moments from the others, which, Siakam, and you know what? I've always, I had my gripes with Siakam because I think that I didn't think that he was going to be able to take that next step of being like that number 1 option of leading a team.
Right.
But you know what? I think the fit of Tyrese Halliburton meshes perfectly. I don't have to ask Siakam necessarily to go get 25, 30, but as long as you're consistent, you're being aggressive playing your game.
Right.
Tyrese Halliburton can still go get his 20, but while also making others better. And I think those 2 have played together really well. Now the others, Miles Turner has had a great playoff run. You just said Aaron Nesmith has had a great playoff run. Nemhart has shown that he is an NBA starter, not just a 6th man, just not a role player. I think he is borderline. If he gets a real opportunity, maybe not in the Pacers because of Halliburton, but if so down the road, he gets to run his own team, I think he's a borderline all-star. That guy is really good. He can create. He's a decent shooter. He's a good defender. He can create for himself. I really love the team that the Pacers have put together. And with all that being said, Rick Carlisle has always been a favorite coach of mine. He holds his players accountable. Good offensive-minded coach, good defensive-minded coach, and he's won a championship. So you give a coach like that, these type of players who play really hard, and they run, and that's what has been something that has gotten them here as well. Now, I'm going to ask real quick. My bad.
All right.
Who do you guys think is going to win the finals?
Go ahead, Mike.
I'm leaning towards the fakes, but I want the Pacers. And I think if the Pacers can do what they can do defensive-wise and Siakam stays just like you said, because I talked to you before the show started. I said there's 2 factors why I think the Pacers are going to give the fakes a run for their money. One is Hallie is going to have that chip on his shoulder, and he's going to ball out crazy. And when he does that, the team gravitates around him. 2, Siakam's going to have to he can't have slow finishes or foul trouble. He's going to have to play an even kill game, get your 20, get your rebounds and your assists, play that even kill game. If they can do that, they're going to give the fakes more trouble than people think.
Okay.
Because and they can go 9 deep, just like the fakes can go 9 deep. So the way it's been going, I'm saying the fakes as much as I hate it, but Indiana it's not going to be a sweep, and it might go 7 games. And in the 7-game series, whoever plays the best 7th game can win the series. So that's my thought.
Yep.
Yeah, 2 things. Who's the best offensive team in the NBA this year?
The Pacers.
Who's the best defensive team in the NBA this year?
The Thunder.
Exactly. And that's exactly, it's going to be a will of attrition here. It's going to be who opposes their will on what they do best. And that's who's going to win the series.
I agree on that.
If the Pacers can continue to do what they do, and that's score the basketball, because if they're getting 115, 120 plus,
they have a chance.
They got a very good chance.
They got more than a chance. That's the great point.
They got a very good
What
chance.
does it take to win? Not more who plays with the best defense, who scores the most. And that's a good point, Pat. That's a really good point.
I do think the Thunder are overwhelmingly favorites, and I would not be surprised if this series does go 5. But I am going to play devil's advocate. Now, with the point that you just made, Pep, if the Pacers can dictate pace, then this series is going to look much different than I think it will look. I think that's what the Timberwolves couldn't do against OKC. They couldn't dictate pace. They play at a slower pace while OKC was getting the ball out off the glass and getting out in transition. Minnesota couldn't play like that. Denver could. Minnesota couldn't. Now, if there is one team who is the best at doing this, it is them. I am worried, though, matchup-wise. Who is going to guard Shea? Who is going to guard Jalen? Because you just said offline that you think that Siakam, one of their defenders, is going to guard Chet. So that means I think he is too.
I think
so. That means you have Nesmith, in my opinion, who probably will guard Shea because he's the bigger guard. So that means you're telling me that Nesmith or Halliburton has to guard Jalen Williams. That's what I don't like. I think both those guys are too small for him. And if that is the case, I do think Jalen is going to feast and he's going to have a really good series. Now, on the other hand, you said the number one option, Siakam has to consistently be the guy offensively for the most part. He can't have just flow games. They got somebody for him, Lou Dort, who is, in my opinion, the best on-ball defender in the NBA, just based off just him being super physical. He knows that he is going to lay out every position defensively, and he knows how much he changes the game with his defensive effort. Now, even right after him, you have Alex Caruso, who, in my opinion, outside of Shea, was the most important player in that last series against the Timberwolves.
I agree, but I think Caruso's going to have a harder time with the score.
I
think so. But
even after what you've seen, how well he did against Anthony Edwards and those guys.
I do. I do, because those guys are a little bit older, whereas Pacers are a little bit younger, and it's not going to be as easy for Caruso. We're talking about Caruso right now, but
MC, you got a twin? Oh, now you don't. There's a twin on the board.
but you never know. You never know nowadays. But I'm just saying, being an underdog and having a chip on your shoulder can push you through.
Oh, I agree.
And make a team do things that will just go like, whoa, I didn't know they had that in them. Pepe made the great point, though. We all did, but Pepe's point was very good. So you got a number one defense against a number one offense. But if the number one offense can continue to do what they did, then it negates the number one defense. And it makes it harder for the number one defensive team because they're not a number one offensive team. So not to say that they can't score a lot, but
I think
what big on OKC can you compare to Towns, who can play outside supposedly really good, and then when needed to go down?
No, they don't have that. I was gonna say Chet can play outside, but I wouldn't say he's a dominant factor inside. No, so they don't have that.
No, they got Hartenstein for that.
Yeah, and Hartenstein is the banger, and he's the one who does all the dirty work.
You know who I think is going to be a real big key for Indiana, and that's Obi Toppin.
Okay.
Because he kind of went off on New York, his former team. He had a little chip on his shoulder for that.
Right.
But that ring can make folks hungry.
Yeah,
That
you're
rain
right.
will make-
And especially when you're not expected to be there, and they aren't. They weren't.
Let me ask you a question: has the Indiana Pacers ever won the finals?
No,
Not in the NBA.
the last time they were there was what, 2000?
Okay, so
Lost to the Lakers.
Yeah.
so there's another chip on their shoulder. They're playing for something for their state and their fans, and the more chips you put on the team's shoulder, the more they.
I will tell you, if there's a team that keeps hearing all this noise and all they do is keep answering the bell, it is the Pacers.
Mhm.
So
You
I
said
can,
it at the beginning of the season.
I did.
When we all before the season, mid-season, we were saying, okay, who do you think might be in it?
Mhm.
And you said the Pacers as a sleeper.
Mhm.
When they made, and remember, I was giving you kudos because I said, it's right, man, because now the Pacers made the playoffs.
Yeah.
And now the Pacers did what they did the first round
Yeah.
and then the second round.
Uh-huh.
And now look where they're at.
And only reason why, if it was anybody else coming out of the Western Conference, and like I said, my mind changed over the course of the playoffs just watching the Thunder.
Mm-hmm.
I just think that they are the most complete team. Shea is playing immaculate. Jalen is doing his part. Chet has been playing well, and the role players are just dogs, man. And I think, just like I said, that physical, aggressive play, that's going to be something I don't think the Pacers have seen all throughout the playoffs yet on this level with the guys that I just named. But like I said, everything that you guys just said about the Pacers, they're hearing all that, and things I'm saying, they're hearing all that. And like I said, all they have done is answer the bell. Now, I do think game one, it's going to be a little overwhelming. I do think OKC wins game one handily. I won't say it's going to be ugly, but I do think they will handily win. But I do think Rick Carlisle is very great at adjusting on the fly. And game two for me is when this series will really start to kick in.
The Sonic curse is going to get the fakes, though, man. They're going to go in. They're going to go in at game one. They're going to go in game one, and the limelight and all that. Both teams have never won a championship.
Yeah,
the fakes try to claim our championship, but it's not going to happen. But
Nope.
But they and they deserve to be there. But we'll see. First game is going to let you know. If it's a blowout, then whoever gets blown out, then it might make you lean more that way.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see.
I have a question, but I'll wait till.
All right. Yep, that'll put a wrap on the first half of the show. But when we come back, O's gonna finish up his point, and then we'll talk about some baseball and a little football.
Ooh.
So do not touch that dial.
I'm Paul Pearson, host of Star Time. And when I'm not hearing men compare women to residential real estate, I'm listening to Rainier Avenue Radio.world.
Sediment cleanup of the lower Duwamish River has begun. The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency and the members of the lower Duwamish Waterway Group, which includes King County, the City of Seattle, and Boeing, have begun sediment cleanup of the lower Duwamish Waterfall Superfund site. This important environmental project will address sediment pollution and help restore the health of the Duwamish River. Starting in the waterway's upper reach, construction activities extend from the south 102nd Street Bridge down straight to the Duwamish Waterway Park. Over the next 3 years, in-water activities will occur from October to February, ending in February 2027. Visit ldwg.org to learn about the upper reach cleanup and sign up for email updates.
Hello, I'm Tony Young, and every week I will be your guide to the music of the Fab Four with my show, With the Beatles. John Lennon, Paul McCartney, George Harrison, and Ringo Starr, those four lads from Liverpool. First airings are Tuesday night from 7 to 9 p.m., with repeats on Thursdays and Saturdays from 8 to 10 a.m., right here on Rainier Avenue Radio. Tune in to catch Beatlemania.
What do you get when culture, climate, and community collide? You get Earth Deserves More Than a Day. Rainier Avenue Radio and King County Park stew down with a week of real talk, real people, and real solutions. This ain't your average Earth Day. Tune in and feel the energy, because the movement is now.
This is Big Poppy, host of Jazz from the Cabinets. Join me each week for a listening tour of the first century of jazz, an eclectic mix of Dixieland, big band, cool jazz, bebop, contemporary jazz, world jazz, in all forms. That's Jazz from the Cabinets with Big Poppy on Rainier Avenue Radio, streaming worldwide on RainierAvenueRadio.world.
So my doctor told me to go online to check my test results, but I didn't know how to do that. Thankfully, I could turn to Link to Care WA for help. With Link to Care WA, I was able to learn how to use online health portals, use telehealth to talk to my doctor virtually, and manage my prescriptions online. I called the hotline and spoke to a real person who taught me the skills I needed. Call Link to Care WA at 866-757-1832 or visit linktocarewa.org.
You're listening to RainierAvenueRadio.world. Check us out on social media, Facebook and Instagram, RainierAvenueRadio.world, and on Twitter at Rainier Ave Radio.
Hey, welcome back, everyone, to the second half of the show, LidLine Sports, right here on Rainier Avenue Radio. I'm Pep, my man MC, my man O is still here. Thank goodness. I'm glad they didn't desert me. They didn't just up and leave. They might want to, but they didn't. Thank goodness.
No, we love you, bro.
Yeah. Well, you wanted to make a point before we went to break.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
Actually,
first, let me make a shout out. I'm sorry. My
you're
bad.
good.
Rhonda, of course, I got to shout you out. And Bill Walker Jr., thank you for listening. And all the regulars that listen, thank you. Even though you didn't say anything, y'all quiet and carrying on, but that's okay.
My girl always watches.
Yeah.
But she never wants to comment or nothing.
Oh, it's all good. It's all good.
Inaya.
Huh?
Inaya.
Inaya, you can comment.
Yeah. Well, we know you ain't looking at us. That's for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, she loves listening to y'all more than me.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. I don't think so.
Yeah, he's
but,
trying to butter herself.
I know, right?
Old guy.
I know.
Exactly.
What's up, O?
So 2 questions. One with the finals, one outside of the finals. So you made a good point. I think you already said, Pep, that your most important player that you're watching for is Obi Toppin.
Coming off the bench.
Yes. Okay. Who's a player outside of the names? Who's a player that you think could possibly help change the series? Either team.
That's a great question. Go
ahead,
Hart. Yeah.
I'll even give you Chet Holmgren because I won't outside of the Jalen Williams, Shea Gilgeous, Tyrese Halliburton.
I like Nembhard.
Okay,
because I like his poise and the way he runs the team. And I'll give you another name, TJ McConnell.
Good one.
Yeah.
I think he's due to make a real impact in the series. I think he is, and that goes to my point. I think he's already been doing it. But I think he's going to be super pivotal because I do think he's going to guard all 1 through 4 against the Pacers, and that is Alex Caruso.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't want to think of it this way, but it's almost like who's got the better guy you don't expect to be that guy?
Yeah,
either Caruso or McConnell. And I like both of them. I'm really not, I didn't like Caruso when he was with the Lakers or with the Bulls, but I like him better here.
Oh yeah,
he fits in much better here with the Fake Sonics.
Yeah.
So that I think that would be an interesting matchup.
So NBA draft June 25th. I know we still have a few weeks before we really get to talking about that. But the Dallas Mavericks, they very much, luckily and very weirdly, after trading their best player, got the number 1 pick with one of the worst odds of getting it. If you're the GM, look, you have Kyrie, who's coming off a torn ACL, who'll be back in January. You just traded for AD, so you're trying to win. Are you going to field offers, or are you going to take the overwhelmingly favorite and take Cooper Flag, who is supposed to be a transcending player? Okay.
Yep, I'm standing pat. I'm going to take Cooper Flag because look at it this way: if Nico knew that the Dallas Mavericks would get the number 1 pick. Would he have still traded?
No.
Luka?
No.
Yes, he would.
You think so?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, he would. Yes, I think so.
Okay.
Because Cooper Flag is going to fit that team the way you want to do things.
That I
And
do
plus,
agree with you.
him and AD, that should be pretty lethal. And then Kyrie coming back, hopefully he comes back better than ever, because a lot of times, believe it or not, players coming off of ACL injuries do come back as good, if not better, than they were before. So looking forward to that. But yeah, I would keep it. I would go with Cooper Flag, and I would not trade it. Now, the only thing I would do if the offer was Giannis or somebody like that,
this is why I asked.
then you got to think.
Okay.
Then you got to make that move, because you got to figure Giannis and AD, Kyrie, you could do something with that, right? So yeah, absolutely. But if it's not Giannis, and if it's just any, like, I don't know,
like Kevin Durant and any of
no,
those,
absolutely, heck no.
I would hope not. I'd be okay with
You
it.
see what he said today, right?
Who?
KD.
Oh, what did he say now?
There's only 2 teams that he wants to go to.
I heard, OKC and
What, San Antonio?
No, Pacers.
Oh, that was a joke. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's a joke, but
yeah,
sometimes jokes are leaked.
Yeah.
Truth.
Mhm.
And it's like, because if it's true, then you truly know that his whole career has been ring chasing.
Yeah.
I mean, really.
I
Look
agree.
at what teams he's went to.
It's getting old.
Yeah, it's getting old. Go to a team that you can help.
Or stay in Phoenix.
Yeah, exactly. Or stay in Phoenix and help them and build something that you can be a dominant. But if it's true,
how many more years does KD have?
Not that many.
At the way he's playing now, I say there'll be a big drop off after next year. But shoot, I was gonna say, as a Suns fan, I hope that we're able to dupe a team into giving us more than what they should for a 38-year-old. I hope we do.
Oh yeah.
Do you have an answer to that question? What would you do with the number 1 pick if you're the Mavs?
Yeah, me and Pepe agree to disagree. But I like a couple other players, but it's hard to say, because I think they are going to go for Flag because they can build around him. He's young. He's quoted as being top player. But there's a couple other players that can do the same thing, but they just don't have the PR that he has.
I think it was you, MC. You said something earlier though about it's not a stars league anymore.
Right.
So I guess I'm looking at it because I also agree that I'm just taking Cooper Flag for financial standpoint, but also too, I'm not gonna put all my eggs and my salary cap into 3 superstars, and now I have to build with fillers after.
Exactly.
That is the one reason. And then on top of that too, I do think Cooper Flag is ready to help now.
Right.
It's not a player who has all this upside of as a number 1 pick. I think what everybody does love about him, he's ready to go now. I'm taking the number 1 pick. You don't think about it. Even Giannis, you just don't think about it, because now you go get Giannis, your window is now much smaller. And yes, the goal is to win a championship, but I feel like the goal in today's era is to be able to be flexible and compete for a larger window, not putting all your eggs in one basket just to compete for 2 to 3 years. A lot of teams have messed themselves up over these last 4 or 5 years trying to do that. So I think you don't think about it. You already made your, we can call it a questionable move or maybe the right move. We'll see. You already made your major move. I don't think the Mavs have to make another one. They got some pretty solid pieces. Go take Cooper. You'll fit right in, especially with Kyrie not being here for the next 4 or 5 months. We even have more room to grow into who he is. So just take him. And you turn your phones off. Whatever offers that even look enticing, don't respond back to them.
Right.
Just keep it pushing.
But we all know we're in the sports. We're all athletes, and nothing's given. So even if all the things we're saying about Cooper Flag and yada yada, it might not pan out.
No, you're right. That's that question you always have to have to live with.
And then you got like I was telling Pep the other day, you got guys like Dylan Harper. The top 5.
Bailey.
Bailey.
Edgecombe.
Yeah, you got those top players there. And sometimes in the draft, the number 1 player that gets drafted is not it doesn't turn out to be the best pick. But
Christian Laettner.
Yes, yes. But what I will go back to, and I'm sure you guys will agree, is that you got to get a player that the franchise that will fit in with the franchise.
Yeah.
Teams are steering away from having that number one diva player and having a tech player that the team will gel with the team. Everybody can gel with them. There's on the Pacers right now, there's several players who didn't do crap on the team that they were in, but they're good ball players. And now look at they're shining. And the same thing on the fakes.
And the closer, the closer we get to the draft, we will break down these guys.
Right.
But you just made a good point before we exit out, talking about getting number one picks for possible divas. I know you guys heard about the situation Zion just got himself into.
Of course.
Yes.
I love him as a player. I think he's an all-star caliber player. I don't think he will, and I know he came with a lot of hype. The things that he did on the court, you've never seen somebody that strong, powerful, athletic ever. But there was just always something about when I watched him play that this is just not somebody I don't think who can be a franchise builder or franchise changer. He is who he is. But what made it even worse, when you start to figure out when guys just don't love the game,
right?
It just shows.
When they don't love the game, when they don't love the game enough. I love with one of the players said, I can't remember the name, and I apologize, but he said, the big guy for the Knicks, I think it is.
Mitchell Robinson?
Yes. And he said, I take it all. He says, I got to be better. I'm going to work harder off season. I'm going to work on my game. You got to respect that. Where you got other players that say, put the blame and push it off instead of, look at Luka. Luka, great ball player. But now I hear he's lost weight and he's going to be working hard. So we'll see.
Yeah.
But talk is cheap. Walk the walk if you're going to talk.
I'm sorry. The Pelicans have to get rid of Zion. Like I said, you put too much into it. You haven't got anything out of it. He hasn't played in a playoff game.
Too many
stuff outside of the court. Yep. I just don't think he cares enough about the game.
No.
He cares about the things that comes with
life. Just like Ja. He didn't care about the game enough, and he kept doing things that they told him not to do. And look what happened. Now he's not he's not the highlight reel guy no more.
Nope.
And when he had it given to him in a platter. All he had to do was adhere to the program, work on his game, and stay. You got all your life to worry about the outside of the NBA. Get your money and your coins and make a name while you're in there.
I don't know what that South Carolina waters must be a little different. They're both from South Carolina.
Exactly. Oh, it is. The air down there is deep.
Yikes.
Thick.
That's all I got, though.
All right, cool. Good stuff, man. This past weekend in Major League Baseball, we had the Yankees and the Dodgers showdown down in Lala. And the Dodgers showed that they are still them.
There's just some teams that, you don't worry about, how we do worry about the Mariners, but there's just some teams that don't matter how they started. Even then, they were still in first place in the NL West and, just kind of just doing their thing.
Got swept by the Angels a couple weeks ago, believe it or not.
But you just know, you don't got to worry about them because those bats, for sure, that's one thing you will not have to worry about. Those bats will wake up.
Oh, and
they woke up loudly.
And guess who's pitching simulated games?
Yep, Ohtani.
Yes.
And that's something that, they do need right now is pitching.
Yes.
So getting him back, getting hopefully Blake Snell back, who we know is a second half warrior. Yep. So they're just, and then they got Clayton Kershaw back. So once that pitching, that starting rotation gets formed,
they're kind of like in the same boat as the Mariners.
Yeah.
As far as the pitching is concerned.
I agree.
Yep.
My team's playing down well, so I'm happy.
What's your team?
The Cubs.
Oh, okay, yeah. You're good for mentioning the Cubs.
Yeah, power rankings, they're number 3 right now.
Yeah, they've been balling.
Yeah. But yeah, the Dodgers it's going to be that team when it comes down to August and end of July. We know that they're going to be playing really good baseball.
Yep. Tony starts pitching for him, man. It might be a wrap.
Yep. Yeah. Friday, game 1, the Yankees went out, got it to a 5-2 lead, lost 8-5. Kind of like they did in the World Series, right? They got up to a lead and then lost it all. Game 2 was Saturday, and that was a whitewash.
18 got put on.
Yeah, 18-2. The Yankees only got 2 because Aaron Judge decided to show up and hit 2 home runs. But that was it.
They got Sunday.
Sunday, they kind of redeemed themselves a little bit. They feel a little better. They beat the Dodgers 7-3, but the series was done by then. So it was already proven that the Dodgers are the team right now that everybody's looking up to. And there's no shame in that. That's just the way it goes.
Yeah.
Dodgers are playing the Mets right now. They're down 1-0.
Yep.
Third inning, and the Yankees are off today.
Yeah,
I believe.
Thank goodness. And your Seattle Mariners lost first place this weekend, and then turned around and got it right back. Yeah, thank goodness. Friday was the disaster. They had 4 straight games of extra inning games, which was crazy.
For me, go ahead.
Yeah, no, which was crazy. We know the last 2 games against the Nationals, the Washington Nationals, when they lost 9-0, and then they lost 9-1. Or excuse me, they lost 9-3 the following night, giving up 7 runs in the top of the 10th. The very next night, they played the Twins on Friday night, 6-6, 9th inning. Well, 6-3 in the 9th. Munoz blows it finally. You knew it was going to happen.
Yes.
So I'm not mad at him. No. But top of the 10th, it was over immediately. First pitch, gone. And then that was it. They scored 6 more runs, and they won that one 12-6. And then finally, Saturday, I watched that one on Fox.
That was a good game.
Yeah,
I
watched
that game too.
And they called up Cole Young from Tacoma, and he ends up getting the game-winning hit. Kinda. It wasn't a base hit, but it was more of a fielder's choice. But good base running.
Is that the rookie?
Yes.
Yeah, that made my season pretty much for the Mariners to see a rookie come in there like that in his hometown kind of area. And
well, he's from Pittsburgh,
but yeah, not his hometown, but his family was in town,
right?
Everything, and he it was up to him.
Well, see, the thing is, they brought him up to do exactly what he does.
Right.
He makes contact.
Right.
Exactly. And that's what you need. You need to make contact in those kind of situations.
21-year-old, and he shined, and it was like that's what I want to see with the Mariners, bringing in players like that. And now next year, don't trade him.
Right.
Just keep building on and keep utilizing
I'm
those.
Still liking what I see from Ben Williamson at third.
Oh yeah.
I like him. Overall, I'm liking much. I feel better about what I'm looking at on the field. I just still don't have the confidence that they're going to actually get it done, because I think we're going to see the same thing throughout the season. They're going to be up and down roller coaster with the Astros, and I'm sure the Rangers are going to get hot at some point, so they're going to be into the mix, I believe. I'm not so much worried about the Angels, but
or the A's were playing terrible.
What have I said? Every time we talk about the Mariners, when I give them their kudos, I give them their kudos when they deserve it. But I told you guys this weeks ago. If the Mariners don't have a 7+ game lead in first place, I'm not going to be happy.
Right.
Because 1 and 2 game, 3 game lead, that they just proved it. How they lost first place. They got it back, but they're only up a half a game.
Right.
You got to be like the Cubs, 4 games up. You got to be like the other teams that are up. You got to have at least a 4 or 5 game buffer before the All-Star break.
Right.
And then capitalize on that and build it up.
Yeah.
Or just like I think there's a point that I think Pep would make all the time. It's they go and play the good teams and they get with them.
Right.
Then they go and play the Nationals and lose a series.
Right.
It's things like that.
You can't do
which
that.
is like, I want you guys to be a contender.
Right.
I don't want the Mariners to just be this team who, just like you said, up and down, having to work so hard just to maybe get a wild card spot.
I don't want that.
I don't want it either.
They want to win the division.
Exactly. And they are good enough to do it. They are, in my opinion, roster-wise, a contender. But when the game comes, like I said, when they go against these teams that they are supposed to sweep for the most part, at least win 2 out of 3, they don't do it. The offense is starting to, it's been okay. It's been up and down. But like I said, I hope, I'm giving them until All-Star break. I'm hoping by that All-Star break, a turn is coming. But right now, you guys are right. It's just up and down.
Well, one thing I am happy about is the way Cal's been playing.
Yes.
It's been what, 2.5 months now, and he's still
home run leader.
Let me make a point real quick that you've always said for years, and it's flowing into the Mariners. You've said this, I've always backed you for the Seahawks. but it pertains to baseball and it pertains to Seattle pro sports in a nutshell. They always play down to a team that's not to the bad teams and play really great against a good team and give us this false hope that they just smashed this good team or they just beat this good team. Oh, they turn in the corner. Then they play a team like the Twins or the Seahawks will play a team that's booty and lose. And we're like, whoa.
Yeah, like the Giants.
Yeah.
The Giants came in here and beat us.
Right. What happened to what
And
we
that,
just saw?
and that's just a dog mentality, though. Like,
Right.
That's all that is. Literally, the difference between just dogging teams you're supposed to is
Right.
having a dog mentality,
Right.
walking into these games. And we're going to destroy you. Not like us. This is who we're playing. Let's chill.
Yeah. No, you can't do that. Yeah. So
because they're pros too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
They want to eat too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But I'll give the Nationals some love though.
Yeah.
After they left Seattle, they went down to Arizona and gave them some blisters.
They got some good young players.
You know, so
The players they got back for Juan Soto and those are some good young players.
So the Mariners and the D-backs caught them at the wrong time,
Right?
You know, so now the Orioles are starting to get hot.
Yep,
because they've been playing much better lately.
Offense is
so
waking up.
Hopefully, the Mariners can kind of chill them out.
Yeah. Well, Kirby's on the mound, like I said, tomorrow. We'll see if he can finally start to look like himself again. He has not, but we all know he is coming off
and
of.
Bryce Miller's kind of been mediocre too.
Yes. Outside of Luis Castillo,
Man, he was great.
He's been lights out.
Whoa,
he's been lights out.
What
I have
happened
nothing
to
to
Wu?
say about him.
What happened to Wu?
It's just been up and down.
But he still got into the sixth.
Yeah,
you know,
I think
so
he's playing well.
That's what you need.
I think to our standards of what we see these guys, it's like when they are playing good,
That's
it's
what
like
it is.
they're playing all
That's
right.
exactly what it is. Our standards are seeing Wu in the 7th and 8th,
right?
And when he's only getting into
Fifth
late
and
5th and 6th, we're like, man, what's wrong with you?
Right.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with him. It's just it's still 2-1.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
But
He's working a little harder.
Yeah, but we just
I just want more. I just want more. That's all.
Yeah, we just
better,
expect
better,
more.
not just more, but better.
And then Logan's pitching as well too, right?
Not yet.
Not mean he hasn't been throwing.
Oh, I don't know.
Okay, I thought he
at
had.
the
Okay,
minors.
exactly.
I
That's
think
what I
the
thought he
minors,
saw. Okay.
Went to the
They're easing him up in the minors,
Yes.
so he is throwing.
Okay.
so we went to the Everett Aqua Sox game
Nice.
Friday.
How was that?
It was good, and they're so Mariner like because it cracked me up. So first inning, Spokane, 2 runs, easy. I mean, bam, bam. I was like, oh, here we go. I mean, they couldn't stop hitting. They got like 4 hits in the first inning. The Aqua Sox got no hit until the 4th inning. However, they did get 2 runs in the 2nd inning off a walk. So then after that, they couldn't stop hitting.
Nothing until the 7th, 8th inning. Yeah.
No. After that, they just went nuts.
Oh, okay.
They won 8-3.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, they just went nuts. I'm like, where was this early in the game? It's like, what the heck? Man, so yeah, that was pretty good. So anyway, OTAs are underway in the NFL. I got some breaking news today from the Detroit Lions. Their center, Frank Ragnow, retired. So that's bad news for them. So I wonder if they're going to inquire about Olu, since he's a Michigan guy, right? I'm just wondering. I'm hoping not.
What are they going to give up for him?
Exactly. Right. Exactly. So we'll see. I'm just, it's throwing out little crumbs there. But yeah. And then, of course, the rankings came out for offensive line. It's interesting to me that the Seattle Seahawks were ranked 28th.
Oh, sheesh.
No, that's okay. I expect that. That's
Okay.
fine.
Okay. But you feel an upgrade.
No, I'm laughing because guess who was 29? The Raiders.
Yeah.
So Gino goes from 28 to 29.
He just wanted to get paid.
He just can't get.
He
can't
just
get
wanted to get
Can't
paid.
get no breaks. He can't get.
I just thought it was hilarious.
that is hilarious.
And then somebody that obviously don't know what they're talking about was on one of the social medias was saying, "Oh, Raiders now they've got an offensive line." I'm like, dude, did you not look at the rankings?
Where are the Cowboys ranked at?
I didn't look.
I just wondering because they're always,
I kind of glanced at it because I saw the Saints at 12th or whatever it was, but I kind of glanced at it, and then when I saw the Seahawks, and then when I saw right under them was the Raiders, I just thought it was hilarious. that Gino thought, oh, change the pay. Oh, same old crap. And guess what? You know, he's got P coaching. So
yeah.
How's that gonna? We'll see.
We're gonna see.
And who's the first game for the Seahawks preseason?
Is it the Raiders?
Oh, that would be your Las Vegas Raiders.
Where's it at?
Here.
Nice.
Yep.
Nice. I've been hearing some good things about Jalen Milroe, just across the board.
Me too.
Okay.
Man,
that's gonna be really
I've seen
interesting
some stuff on
storyline.
YouTube, and I've seen some. You know, there's this guy on YouTube that covers mostly Detroit. They're big Detroit fans, but they seem to talk about the Seahawks quite a bit. I've noticed, and he even says it. You know, he said we talk about some other teams, but you know, Detroit's our home team. Blah blah blah. But man, we really like what we're seeing from what's going on in Seattle,
Nice.
and he goes in depth of what they've been doing. So
I heard
I've been
Cooper Kupp has looked pretty good.
Man, I heard he's in the best
shape
of his career.
Yeah.
Man, that's a good thing. So hopefully curtail some injury. And I heard that Arroyo is a beast.
Okay.
And Martinez. I heard he's you know, so I'm hearing good things in the OTAs. But look, let's not get too crazy. OTAs is just, you know, they're not playing anybody yet. They're not getting hit, you know. I'm hearing things in Pittsburgh about Will Howard, my rookie quarterback. He's 31 of 38. Dude, this is OTAs. He should have been 38 of 38.
See, this is that,
he ain't getting rushed. What are you talking about?
Social media era that just you see every little thing that's going on and it gets all blown out of proportion. The same thing is going on, and I hope he does do well, but the same thing is going on with Shador over at Cleveland. I'm over hearing how he went 15 for 15.
But I'm hearing Dylan Gabriel said they're saying, oh, he doesn't look like an NFL quarterback.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I'm like, okay.
Well, they drafted him in the third round, right?
Yeah.
So that's going to be interesting. So who do you see as QB1?
Oh, it's Darnold.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, for the Browns. Sorry.
Oh, the Browns.
Oh, it's going to be what's his name? Flacco.
Flacco?
Yeah.
That's what I think so too.
I mean, unless one of those guys just blows it out of the water like Russ did over Matt Flynn. So, you know, that's the only scenario that I see. But Flacco says, look, man, I'm the quarterback. You know, I'm not here to be a mentor.
Exactly.
You know, but so. Okay.
And that's what Colm is over there saying too in Atlanta. Who's the quarterback there?
Penix.
No, who was the starting quarterback?
Oh, Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, I'm hearing he wants out because he's not coming here to be a backup. He wants to start somewhere.
Well, he should have played better.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know?
Yeah.
That's the way it goes. Hey, we're out of time, unfortunately, but hey, thank you everybody for listening. We're glad to be back from the little hiatus of Memorial Day. I hope everybody had a good time and was safe. No issues, whatnot. And we will be back next week. And in behalf of O and MC, I'm Pep. We'll be seeing you next week.